Come up closer, everybody. I need to talk to you. I mean, this is serious business here. This thing is serious as cancer, and that is the 6th of January commission, the assault on the Temple of Democracy that happened on the 6th of January after Rudy Giuliani. Let's hold court, combat by court, court by combat, and Trump said of that crowd of Trump worshipers or sycophants. And I'll say that, realizing that it's going to turn a lot of people off right away. You probably won't listen any further, but I'm going to call it like it is. Said Trump told him I'm going to march down to Capitol Hill with y'all. He lied. He wasn't going to do that. But there was an assault on the Temple of Democracy. That Capitol Hill building is where allegedly the democracy of the United States is preserved and is protected and legislated day by day. If not, hour by hour, if not minute by minute, that Capitol building. And they were on that day had been called for the annual tradition of certifying the President of the United States of America. It was a certification process, ratification, affirming what the people in America had done by way of their votes in the 2020 election. And that crowd went down there that day to stop that certification. They went down to stop it because they disagreed with it. They thought that Biden had not won, or at least they alleged that he had not won. And they were going to stop the peaceful transfer of power. Now, you find a lot of that kind of thing going on in Dominican, the banana republics. That, one guy gets in office and he loses the election, and like that guy Krishenko over there in Belarus. And they don't let anybody, even though they lose the election, they don't allow the transfer of power. They got the power, they got the military. And so that was an attempt, something that we have never seen, not even during the Civil War, when, the Confederate forces had declared states' rights. And the Union forces had declared that, that slavery had been abolished through the Emancipation Proclamation and that it had been tendered as unjustified. But even there was not an assault, an attempt such as what we saw on the 6th of January. Now, this commission that was, first of all, there was an agreement, said, well, let's do a commission, a study, to try to, like the 9/11 Commission, to study, well, what went on that day? Did Trump incite this or did he not incite it? Was it generated by Antifa or Black Lives Matter or by the Proud Boys or by the Boogaloo Boys or by the Oath Keepers? How did this event of the storming of the Capitol building, one woman was shot, a woman by the name of Babbitt, who was a part of the crowd that was assaulting the temple. She was shot by Capitol Hill police officers. Many of the Capitol Hill police officers were beaten with sticks and with staves, and some of them hospitalized. One guy, Brian Sicknick, died a day or so later. It was alleged that it was because of a heart failure, but not because of the beating. But there remained over 140 Capitol Hill police officers that were greatly injured in this assault on the Temple of Democracy. The office of Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, was actually broken into. Her computers were stolen. Some guy sat with his feet up on the desk. And the place was ransacked. The Secret Service had to escort Vice President Pence out of the House, out of the well of the Congress, because they were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence, hang the vice president." And they actually had a gallows outside on the Capitol Hill mall with a noose to hang the vice president. My friend, this is serious stuff. This is serious stuff that they were playing. So it needs, let's stay there for a minute, Mr. The commission needs to find out, well, exactly who organized this. This is not anything I'm proud of, but I'll say it. My entire 10th year of high school, I didn't go to school. I didn't. I just didn't go to school. And I hung out with several other young men. We didn't go to school. So finally, one of the teachers grabbed us. There was 4 of us that hung out together. And he accused me of being the leader. He said, "You're leading these young men in the wrong direction." He accused me to be a leader. Somebody instigated. You know, if you look at a broad spectrum or any of those photos, look at all the flags that said Trump. I mean, look at that. You could, if you find any American flags, you're lucky. But Trump 2020, Trump. I mean, they had exalted Trump above the Constitution, everybody. And when you get a chance, I'm not going to trouble our engineer. Mr. Engineer, let that stay just like you got it there. But, you know, when you get a chance, look at some of the other footage. And there's tons of footage of Trump flags flying everywhere. So who organized this? And a lot of these people that stormed the Temple of Democracy came with gas masks. Who the hell told them that you needed a gas? I mean, hell, Louis Farrakhan brought 1 million men down to Washington, and they didn't have gas masks. You know, they didn't have no Farrakhan flags. Like Louis Farrakhan. They didn't have no Nation of Black Islam. They didn't have no Elijah Muhammad flag. Hell, they had no Malcolm X flag. They just came down there with their children. They're talking about the homies, right? The Hamite boys. And they marched to Washington, and they left and went back home. But you got to look at this. This ought to scare the hell out of this ought to scare the hell out of black Muslims. I mean, come on. Come on. The Muslim march, and they mad as hell too. And Farrakhan was fired up. But he ain't look nothing like this. Ain't look nothing. Who planned it? Now, that's not to say that Farrakhan couldn't have planned the same thing, but that wasn't in his heart. Who planned this? You know, it was Trump. Everybody knows that. But here's the deal. The Republicans, right, all of them now, all of them, except for a few, realize that this is the base, that crowd you see out there, all them Trump flags, they and all their kindred, their cousins and their second and third kissing cousins, you know, they're all part of what is now the Trump base. And they are no longer constitutional or democratic. I have to tell you something. You may not want to receive this from me, but I mean, you know, the Republican Party, and then I'll get to the Democrats. Give me a moment. All right, let me do this one bite at a time. Are no longer constitutional Americans. That is to say, they wanted to stop the constitutional mandate of the certification of what was allegedly the legally elected president of the United States of America. They're no longer, in other words, they're saying, we don't abide by that anymore. That is not the thing that we hold up as the Holy Grail and that we respect. The hell with the Constitution. And the hell with the democratic process. This needs to be looked at. Now, you know, Kevin McCarthy, this is a guy he's a minority leader. Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi is third in line to be the President of the United States, the Vice President. The President kicked the bucket. The Speaker of the House becomes President. Kevin McCarthy is the leader of the Republican Party. He's a minority leader. Shortly after this event and the storming of the assault of Capitol, he stated that Trump was responsible by this and his butt ought to swing in the wind. Now, he didn't say that, but he was mad as hell because he was there that day. He's mad as hell. I don't know if you ever had a bunch of white folk coming at you cussing, wearing gas masks and breaking windows and kicking down doors. Hell, that ain't no fun. They tried to say it was the Antifa, they were black folk. I said, damn. That ain't no fun. I don't care who you are. You can be black or white. You got a bunch of white boys with boots on and with jackets and with gas masks and coming to breaking down doors, coming to get you. That ain't no fun. So they're going to get Kevin McCarthy too. So he said, but now the boy, Lord have mercy, the boy is saying that he went after he said they went down to Mar-a-Lago and met with Trump, kissed his ring, and probably something else. So I'm too polite to say to you what he did, but I think he kissed both of them. And now everything is everything. He's defending. He don't want to see no 9/11 commission. He don't see those January 6th commission. He don't want the matter investigated. So it's been a whole mess, right? And you probably heard about it. But I'm convinced that we need to do this. All right, and I'll tell you why. But let me preface it by saying that we are in the tribulation. Now, you may not want to believe that. You may not have any relationship to the Bible. You may think it's a dumb book for dummies. And okay, I'm cool with that. I mean, I'd rather you didn't, but that's what you want to believe. Knock yourself out. But we have to realize that we're in the tribulation, and God Almighty, his name is Jesus, has called Donald John Trump Tribulation Trump. And that, like Judas was necessary to betray Jesus to get him to the cross, the world needs Donald John Trump to manifest the tribulation. The world needs him. The world needs him. And look at him. Ain't he a weird looking? Look at that guy. I mean, look at him. Look at him. I mean, if he's not some sort of weird looking. I mean, when I was just a boy, I wasn't big enough to go to the bathroom by myself. I pictured that boy Mussolini over yonder in Italy. He and Hitler were together. Mussolini and Hitler, they were two idiots. Mussolini. Every time I look at Trump, I think about Mussolini. And but Jesus told me that Donald Trump is necessary to actually bring the utter destruction of America. You know what Trump said about that event of the assault on Temple of Democracy? He said it was a love fest. I swear, I've seen a whole lot of people lie. That boy can lie. He said it was a love fest. He said I've never seen no. He said. They were kicking in windows, had a gallows out there going to hang Mike Pence. What a news, right? Beating the living daylights out of the police. So Trump said it was a love fest. He said, I've never seen so much love in all my life. I swear. And people, Fox News and Tucker Carlson and all that crowd, they're promoting it as a love fest. It don't get any crazier than that. It don't get any crazier than that. Yeah, but that guy Mussolini, they finally did, that boy was one sicko. He's the leader of Italy, right? And, rather comparing Trump to that German boy, that Hitler boy, Hitler has a little bit more class. Trump's just a pathological misfit and a liar. But God has said he is and so the people, I think is more like Mussolini. But I have to say to you that we're in the tribulation, and Trump is the trigger of the tribulations. The 6th January commission will probably go forward. Benny Thompson, a Hamite brother, is a member of the Congress. Congress will be leading that hearing, and so I'll probably chime in on it tomorrow to get started so you can be kept abreast of it. But I have to tell you that, and I want you to listen to me very carefully. I mean, many of you know me well. You know me well. And you know who I am. I don't have to tell you who I am. You know that I survived the onslaught of Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and I prefer not to use this word, but so that we can get everybody's attention. I survived. You know me. I survived the intense hatred of black people for the past 12 years. At one time, I believe all of Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa, hated my living guts. They hated me. And I survived them. And you don't easily forget when people call up and tell you they're going to kill you. They're going to burn down your church. They're going to kill your wife. You don't easily forget that. That goes on day after day after day. You don't easily forget that. So you know me. You know who I am. And I survived that. But I want to tell y'all boys something that y'all boys that attack the temple of democracy and y'all boys that are running around behind Trump, you're crazy as hell. You're some sick ass SOBs. I say it like that. Now, you know me. You know what I've dealt with over the past 12 years. You know me. But y'all some sick-ass SOBs following that Trump boy. I can tell you that right now. You need to wake the hell up. No, you do. It don't make no sense. The man is a pathological misfit. And you are going to burn down America for that orange-haired orangutan? You done lost your mind. You lost your mind. And let me say this to you as well. You are definitely a worshiper of the devil. You? I'm talking to you. Yeah, you. You are definitely a worshiper of the devil, of Satan. Ain't no God in you. Ain't no God in your worship of Trump. You know, for full disclosure, I could go down the Obama road, but I'm going to do that. Nah, I'm going to let that linger in there. I'm going to let that hang over Mississippi. I'm going to let that hang over Alabama. I'm going to let that hang over Tennessee and Arkansas, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Texas, Ohio, Indiana, North and South Dakota, and Idaho too. I'm going to let it hang over there. You're worshipers of Satan, and ain't no doubt about it. No, your card-carrying members. Your initiation as a card-carrying member of the satanic cause is Trump. That gets you in. That unlocks the door to all of Satan and all of his evil. That's right. And you're taking it from me. You're taking the man who gave you the same truth about Obama. Me. I'm James Evan Manning, everybody. I'm the Lord's servant. I want to ask you to come up close for just 1 second. And I want to talk to 3-year and older veterans of the Trust in the Lord Hour, the Open Rewards Prayer Meeting, the Manning Report, and the Pulpit of Power, those 4 ministries that we do every week, producing at least 20 different ministries or sermons every week. If you are a 3-year or older veteran, by old I mean 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, 12 years, older veteran of any of these ministries that we do on a daily basis every week, and you are not a supporter, you've not joined with the ministry to give to pledge your support and your alignment with what we've been teaching. My question is why? You've had 3 years to observe us. You've had 3 years to listen to us on a daily basis, all weekend, all day long, any hour of the day. We're broadcasting. You've had 3 years to watch our various successes. You've 3 years to watch our ups and downs. You've had 3 years to listen to the tenor or the consistency of what we have said, whether we are consistent or whether we're all over the chart in what we do and what we believe. You've had 3 years to watch people around us who have made the commitment to join with our ministry and church and to financially support it. And by the way, I want to give another shout out to Brother Jesse Munoz out there in San Bernardino, along with Goldfinger, who is just extraordinary giver, and others that do extraordinary giving to our ministry. My question is to you, if you are a 3-year veteran or older, why haven't you joined? Why haven't you committed? And I suppose some of the reasons would say, well, Pastor Man, I belong to another church. And why? How could you, after 3 years of hearing me teach about the Sabbath, about righteousness, about the tribulation, and listen to me faithfully as you do, and still go sit up in another pastor's face? How could you be? It's like a woman sleeping with 2 men. You know, one she likes during the week and the other she likes on the weekend. It's hypocritical. How could you do that? I mean, essentially, you started 3 months ago. I can understand. Well, it may take you some time to evaluate. It may take you some time to look at me, to discover, who I am. You say, well, Pastor, that's not that I don't belong to another church or ministry. I'm with you. But there's some things you say I like, and there's some things you say I don't like. Why? Why is it that you've made a decision that there's some things that you don't like are stronger than the things that you do like? I am not a psychiatrist, but I am an analyst. And I have to tell you, I analyze the world, understanding. The understanding and wisdom tells me this, that if there are things that a person such as myself that I am saying, there is no room to disagree with what I am saying unless your purpose is to find something to disagree with. Let's say, for instance, you say, well, I like the fact that you talk about Obama, but I don't like the fact that you talk about Trump. Let's say, for instance, you're one of those, right? Well, the purpose, it isn't that you just like what I say about Obama, but don't like what I say about Trump. What it is that you are looking for a reason to support Trump. It isn't that you don't like it. It's just that you don't like the fact that I'm saying something about him. It isn't that what I'm saying is wrong. Let me put it that way. It isn't what I'm saying is wrong or indifferent. You know it's right. But you've lived your life, or you've come up, or you've been raised with a doctrine that you can really live in a false reality. That's where you are. You've been raised in a doctrine that you can live in a false reality. That is to say, you can like the truth about Obama, but you don't like the truth about Trump. And it's the same truth. It's the same truth. There's no difference. But because you have been indoctrinated to live in a false reality, you are really a person who needs psychological debriefing. But trust me, there are zillions of people around the world who live that way. There are people who know what I'm saying about Trump or Obama is right. They know it. But they choose to ignore it based on the fact that they find a reality that isn't true, and they've settled in there. Say, well, that's one of the reasons why I've not made a commitment, because, I don't like the fact, I wish you would support what I support. But the truth of the matter is, then why do you come? You've given 3 years or more of your life to listen to me? 3 years of your life to listen to me? And you're not tired of listening to me yet? And you've given 3 years of your life, and over the past 3 years, your life has been greatly upgraded. You've learned, you've been educated, you've been enlightened. And let me say this to you. If you make the commitment, say, well, Pastor, I'm joining with you, and I'm going to support, I'm going to do the tithe and offering, I'm going to do the first fruit, I'm going to keep the Sabbath, your life is going to soar. Now listen to me very carefully. Now I'm not going to leave you alone after this. Listen to me very carefully. You come as often as you come over the past 3 years because you're being helped. You're being educated. You're being enlightened, right? Right. But the thing that you like, whether you say, well, I like what you say about Obama, but I don't like what you say about Trump. You do the same thing with the Word of God, such as you like the things I say, the teachings that I say, the way I explain the Bible, the way I break it all down and make it clear. But when it comes to things like money or tithing and offering or the Sabbath, well, that is also true, but because of your false reality, because you really need a psychological debriefing, because of your false reality, you choose not to believe the tithe or the first fruit or the Sabbath. Now, it isn't that it isn't true. It's as true with all the other things I've said. But you live in a false reality where you try to ignore the truth about the tithe, and so you don't do it. But everything else I say is good to go. Everything I ever say is good to go, good enough to share with your friends. It makes you laugh. It educates you. It enlightens you. But the tithe, well, and the full commitment to the ministry, well, the first fruit offerings, well, the Sabbath, that's all true as well. But you have chosen, and you've been raised and indoctrinated to have a dual reality, which is dangerous. Jesus said this, and I'll leave you. He said, I would rather you be either hot or cold, but not lukewarm. You're lukewarm. You have a dual reality. He said, if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. I would rather you be completely stomped down against Pastor Manny, trying to take him down. Be fully against him. Be against him with all of your strength. Or be fully for him with all of your strength. But don't be in the middle, somewhere lukewarm. You're better than to be spit out of the mouth of Jesus if you're lukewarm. So what's it going to be? You're going to make the commitment and grow and be even better blessed, or you're going to continue to walk in the lukewarm spit of the mouth of the Savior. I'm James David Manning, everybody. I'm the Lord's servant.